Despite the Orlando Magic being towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference, this hasn't slowed down or stalled the progression of many of their young star talents, in particular Franz Wagner. Franz last season was one of the most promising rookies to come out of last year's draft, and despite a lot of noise that's been circulating around the draft about the players not getting better, you can't say that for Franz because he has legitimately taken leaps from the player he was last year to the player he is now. And you can make an argument that he's been the best player to come out of the 2021 NBA draft, which is pretty surprising since that draft was headlined mostly by Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley. But the 6'10" forward has been non-stop adding more layers on top of his game to make him one of the best players in the league. This year, Franz has shown that he's a very adaptable player who understands his role when he's placed in difficult situations. Mosley this year has decided to give him more on-ball reps to allow him to be more of the decision maker and initiator for the offense. It's brilliant because not only is Franz 6'10", he has a very tight handle for his size, so he can navigate through the traffic and dribble around the defense like no problem. And he loves to make the right play, whether that be hit a back cut pass for the layup or whether he decides to just take it up himself to get a quality shot. He doesn't let the defense pressure bother him at all, but instead to try to play at his own pace. Franz is being hounded by the half-court line, and notice how Mo Bamba cuts to the weak side corner, and Isaiah Hartenstein decides not to follow him, but instead stays here on the potential Franz drive. Franz spins off Evan, and now two Knicks defenders are keyed in on Franz. As he attacks towards the nail, Bamba makes a beautiful baseline cut, and Franz does a bounce pass to thread it in between the Knicks defenders for the layup. This time, Franz does a dribble handoff with his brother, and he elects to reject the screen, which gets Drew Holiday off balance. Now you can see how this pulls multiple Bucks defenders to him, and look how Franz just takes one more dribble to pull Chris Middleton even closer as if he was going to drive, to instead whip the pass to Markelle Fultz for the three. Franz has shown great development in the pick and roll, and developing more as a primary creator and gaining a better feel and read to understand the defense when he's attacking as the ball handler. Last year, Franz in the pick and roll averaged 0.84 points per pick and roll and 3.9 possessions a game, and this year he's averaging 0.94 points per pick and roll and 6.1 possessions a game. Despite an obvious uptick in offensive usage in the pick and roll, Wagner's been unfazed because he's become a better decision maker and became smarter on when he should pass to the open man, whether it be the roll man who's open for the pocket pass or the corner shooter so he can potentially get a kick out assist. Having great vision in the pick and roll matters a ton, and it helps when you've been given a 6'10" height where you can basically see over the defense majority of the time and make advanced reads in the pick and roll. Wendell Carter Jr. goes to set a screen for Franz, and the defenders decide to try to double Franz on the top of the key. Now, usually the pass an NBA player would make in this scenario is pass to the roller here once they attract the double team. But Franz has become a better processor, and he notices Anthony coming to slide over to provide help on the roller, but this now leaves the corner three open. Franz passes it to Cole Anthony, and he does hit it. Here, Franz decides to reject the screen and attack Steph Curry. Jordan Poole is guarding the weak side corner, but continues to slide over to be the tag man. The moment he put his foot down in the paint, Franz throws a cross-court laser in the corner for the triple by Gary Harris. This one, it seems Wendell was going to set a screen right for Franz, but he instead crossed it left. This pulls Derrick Jones Jr. and Andre Drummond towards the nail to show pressure and bodies at Franz. Even if it was only by a little bit, him forcing Drummond to slide over that bit was enough for Mo Bamba to be confident enough to attempt the three and drill it to give Franz the assist. Franz receives the screen, and Jacob is playing at the level of the screen, and Keldon has already rotated more to the paint to tag the roller. Franz makes the simple pass to Bol in the corner and walks right in for a pull-up. Now you might say this isn't special of a pass, and you're right, But the fact that Franz already in his second year is constantly pulling and moving defenders like it's a chessboard is amazing. Being able to not only for the screener defender to play more aggressive coverages, you're also now making a third defender have to be involved, and that's just special stuff to witness. Franz becoming a better passer and decision maker feeds back into his driving game. Now teams have to be wary of his ability to hit open guys with his passing when they collapse on a Franz drive. Wagner's not only getting to the rim more this season, he's also finishing at the rim better. He shot 60% at the rim last year to now 67% at the rim this year, a 7% boost. His improvements in this department isn't the usual way you see from other players. He didn't gain some game-bending quick first step or burst, but instead he's gotten better at leveraging his height and weight, and how most of the time he's going to have a height and length advantage over his defenders. Him being more physical and adding more elusiveness in his finishing, almost like a running back juking people to create separation, but instead Franz is doing that and supplementing that with Euro steps and up and unders, and having great footwork around the rim to squeeze past defenders while still having great touch around the rim with either hand. You notice that he uses his nice ball handling ability to always find a way into the rim. It might not look like the most aesthetically pleasing way of getting to the paint, but he does a job wonderfully to create paint touches you will need, and he's one of the few bright spots in that Magic offense because of his ability to be so adaptable in a multitude of ways. If you need Franz in a possession to operate in the corner and make smart back cuts and curl off screens for X amount of possessions, he could do that. If you need him to start in the corner, but eventually as the shot clock is running, go get the ball on a dribble handoff and go create a quality half-court shot for the team, he could also do that. And if you need him to start with the ball on the top of the key and just run high pick and rolls for the entire possession and still get a high quality shot, he could do that as well. Portability would be the word I would use to describe this part of Franz's game, because you can basically put him in lineups of players having drastically different skill sets than one another, and somehow Franz will come out of that and still be a positive offensive player to your team. Now, don't let this fool you and think just because he has so much to do on the offensive end, he's letting that hurt him on the defensive end. Since he's 6'10", you would think he would primarily match up with 4s and 5s, but because he's such a flexible defender, you can put him in virtually many different defensive assignments in a night, and he will more times than not come through on the defensive end. Off ball, he has a very good eyes and anticipation, angling himself in situations to stifle people on potential drives and make well-read fly-by contests to bother guys' shots when they throw them up. And he isn't terrible on ball either, holding his own for the most part when he's on the perimeter. In it all, Franz Wagner by most wasn't expected to be this good, but somehow through hard work and determination, Franz is looking like arguably the most promising player coming out of the 2021 NBA draft. A 6'10" forward who could pretty much do it all on the offensive end and can still provide positive value for you on defense, can eventually lead to one of the best players in the league. And I'm not talking top 50 or even top 30. I'm talking about a trajectory that can land him in the top 15 or top 10 players in the league if he can continue to round out his game in the manner he is. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button since it helps my video perform better on the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to always be notified whenever I upload a video. And let me know in the comment section below, how good do you guys think Franz Wagner will be as his career progresses, and what his ceiling is as a player. With that all being said, I hope all of you guys have a blessed day.